Although I did want to talk about that for a while, but it's too late.
We got time. We got
the blur says.
All right, here's the thing. Roy Moore's not a pedophile. He's attracted to pubescent girls. That makes him a worse person because it means he's putting his own lack of impulse control above the law. I know we don't like pedophiles because they have uncontrollable compulsions, usually brought on by child abuse. That the victims are the most innocent people in the world, and so the crimes are the worst that you could imagine. But when we keep calling this guy a pedophile, but I just every time I want to go like, he's not really a pedophile. Yeah. He's worse. He's worse than a pedophile. He's a guy that is like, oh, she's 14. I'd hit that. She can't defend herself. Her life is going to be ruined. I'm making that decision. We all have to take shits and we do it in a toilet. Like we have laws that say, well, they got to be 18 because then at least they have a little bit of a chance to not be permanently scarred if you drive by them on the street and go like, why not? And he was like a guy that was like a district attorney and was going like, why not? I could get away with it. It's like in a crazy alternate universe where we found out that a politician was a pedophile, it might be an opportunity to be like, okay, you probably shouldn't run for office, but let's help you. Thank you for that legislation that you did that's so great before we found out you were a pedophile. Now thank you for raising pedophile awareness. Go in this place in this treatment program for pedophiles. This is a guy who's like a sociopath. It's like a criminal. It's a person that was just like an arch criminal. There's an important distinction there. Anyways, it's hard to go to. You want to go like, well, technically he's not. Then you like end up in this conversation where they're like, oh, go on, tell us about how pedophiles are really important, like a really important demographic that need to be given a shout out. Like,
there's not a lot of products exclusively for them.
Did you see that documentary Pervert Park?
No.
Everyone should watch that because I know it's like
watch it on Christmas with your family.
Pedophilia is obviously and understandably our culture's bedrock. It's you can't get worse than that, but it's a condition. And then when you watch this documentary, Pervert Park, it'll make you understand, not in a preachy way, but by testimony of all these people that live in this trailer park, of all these sex offenders that they can't live anywhere else, and it's run by a sex offender. And it's like every single one of their stories, they're not heroes. They're not, but every single one of their stories involves getting abused.
Yes.
And so it's like, here we are in this society where we go, oh, it's like, oh, you got abused, so you're probably going to abuse somebody. Right. Or you abuse somebody, you probably got abused. And that's definitely a capitalism thing. Like, we don't put money. No, you can't get votes by saying, let alone campaign money, by saying, I would like to pump some financing into this pedophile cycle. This person molested this child, which means there's an opportunity to break a cycle here, either with their child or with them. Like, if you elect me your congressman, I'll make sure that money goes to the right place. Like, and as a result, that's what so then you have this.
That's what brought down John Kerry's campaign. Yeah, he did it. It does not work. It is not good in the debates.
That and running the other way when he saw those Vietnamese bullets.
Well, you know why.
And that Swift boat. Remember? And he was like, turn the Swift boat around and he's like,
yes. But you bring up a great point about that Roy Moore is, because I think the thing is by calling Roy Moore a pedophile, you're giving him stolen victim valor.
Right.
Where, like, he didn't earn any, like...
He doesn't have a medical excuse to be a bad person.
Right. He's just a bully and an asshole.
Your neighbor might be a pedophile, and he's not running for... he wasn't DA, and he's not running for anything.
Unless you live right next to Roy Moore, in which case, don't listen to this part.
Anyways, it's all over now, but the pedophile was the easy word to use, but it just didn't really apply, and it's like weird because it's like, isn't there like a little bit of residue there where you go, found out that guy was a pedophile, cost him the election, and now it's like there's almost like a sort of residual like badness there where it's like, oh, if you can find evil in someone, you call it out, but it's like, what about selfishness? Sorry, what were you going to say, DeMarge?
Just idiocy also as well. And it's just sort of like, given all that and everything, and Jackass rides up on a horse. I mean, and so you get to the point where it's sort of like, I mean, yes, what you're saying is true, but also the vitriol doesn't need to go away. It has to just be reshaped and directed in the right shape at him again. Because that would be like somebody calling somebody an asshole and then somebody coming out of the crowd and going, technically not a sphincter. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, this dickhead in all of his whatever, to either made that directive or heard that directive and thought, no, this is a good idea. I'm going to ride up on a horse after all of this and confidently slam the. Somebody said, the numbers aren't good, or the numbers are good. Ride up on a horse, or the numbers aren't good. Why don't you ride up on a horse and tilt it?
He just wanted to show 14-year-old girls in Alabama that they have stuff in common. Like they all like horses. Like that's what the horse thing was.
My Little Pony says I should vote this way.
Right.
If you run a simulator in your head where you cross threshold after threshold after threshold, like the people that we're up against in this culture war, if you imagine being one of them, whereas you and I can be eroded, we have that option. We can drift into cynicism. We can start caring less and less. We can realize we never cared at all. I'm not trying to say like I'm Han Solo and stuff like. I'm saying like we have the position that we're in allows for slow transformation from what we are to what they are. Mm-hmm. They have the luxury, air quotes for our listeners, of being on the side of a threshold where it's over, man. Yeah. Lay on, McDuff. You cannot now change your mind. And it's weirder than in Nixon's time because now there's an internet. Everyone has a Facebook timeline. It used to be the joke about your Mondale bumper sticker that was like, you had to scrape your bumper to like erase your paper trail. In Nixon's time, it took 6 years for your Uncle Tony to realize Nixon was a piece of shit. And he could spend 3 years, 3 Thanksgivings, he could just shut his mouth during the conversation and slowly get to, you know what? I don't like that guy. He's tricky dick. We have now this like up to the minute, like you have to double down or release every day. And if you have been doubling down for a year, you are 23% of the nation, right, depending on what polls you go by and how you compound these information. We have gotten to this core. You have this fucking thing where you now need to go to that rally and you need to ride up on a horse and you need to give speeches about, we were in Vietnam and there were we could have fucked 1 million 11-year-olds and we didn't do that. Our lawyer's a Jew, our accountant's a Jew, and everyone's like waving their hats in the air. There's a subtext to it, which is like, we're too far gone. Stop us. Save us. We cannot stop ourselves. You won't stop shaming us if we do. We cannot. We have adopted a philosophy that says we're tired of being ashamed. So every morning when they get up and they think about what if this is the day when I change my mind, the answer is, and so I begin a lifetime of fucking having to think about that year I spent
well, that's
like working for Sauron, and I'm just gonna like be the most awkward person at the office party. I have to fucking double down.
That's why they all get mad at Starbucks cups and like these crazy, all of their rage gets like funneled at the weirdest things. Like an ESPN reporter said that the president like farted or something, and then they're like, "Oh, well, we gotta get her off the TV." Like that's like their lives are such a contradiction that it's gonna be incredible just to watch how they like their brains explode over the next few years.
How the government buildings that they blow up explode. I mean,
either way, these
people are going to continue to mass shoot and fertilize bomb and the best we can hope for at this point, my definition of utopia, which is basically get me back to my white fragile mollusk shell. Like in that universe, they're just back in their mom's basement, like polishing their jackboots, and with their swastika posters like covered with like Dukes of Hazzard posters, for in case company comes over. Like it's just back to the shadows, back to the shame, and then what do they do down there? Like I don't know. They fucking fester and metastasize, obviously. But I don't. Yeah, I'm all over the fucking place.
You got it. Though.
Merry Christmas. I guess is my point.
Yes, that is your point.